supervisor, process is audited. Every process is checked that we are going by regulation. So, that education needs to be there. You should know who to go to when something goes wrong. You should know where their office is. You should know that I'm using OPay. This is where their office is at. If you are using FERS, you should know where FERS office is. Education is key. No matter how trivial you think that information is very important. So education is one of the challenges we face as SMEs. We use digital currency. Another issue we have is regulatory uncertainties. So a few of us have tapped into going to the business of using digital currencies, but we are afraid from time to time that regulations can change. Just the same way all of us were used to using cash 60% of the time. And all of a sudden, we were met with a policy that made us change our lifestyle. So it's a bit of a challenge when people embrace digital currency because they are afraid of what policy or what process regulatory bodies will bring into the system. We also have infrastructure limitations. So all of us sitting down here to check our emails, to check our phones, we won't have to ensure we have data. So if we have more infrastructure whereby we can access the internet, it will go a long way to make people embrace digital currency. So the question is, how do we unlock, how do we adopt, how do we unlock the opportunities that are in there for us to embrace digital currency as SMEs and moving with adoption? First of all is the campaign and awareness. I like the question the gentleman Robert asked the panel to say, when we call for education, will they respond? So I would say that your question is vital because it's not just saying it, it's doing it. And I'll say the education is not even just for the SMEs. In my head, I think the education is even one of us sitting down here to teach our children as well. Because it's, in the utility bits of things, everybody gets aware of what is happening. So education needs to happen. Collaboration needs to happen between the private sector and the government to find a way to educate the populace in the need of financial education, how to go about it, and how to mitigate any factor that can hinder them from getting their achieved results. So we also need to collaborate with regulatory bodies. Like I said, we are governed by CBN. And somebody asked the question last time to say, what are the regulators doing? So even when CBN comes around, sometimes we sit on the round table to say, these are the problems the users are having. So CBN comes and says, when you make a transaction, and for any reason the transaction fails, we are giving you perhaps 5 hours to resolve the issue. We as stakeholders also need to go back and ask ourselves, these 5 hours CBN has given us, is it scalable? Is it doable? So oftentimes, issues affecting the users, you and I, different from what the regulator is profiling there. We sit down with them and talk about it. And I think we need to do more of that. I think as next media, everybody needs to sit down, have forums like this with regulatory bodies and stakeholders to find a way we can resolve our issue. That said, promoting digital currency and payment adoption for SMEs in Nigeria is a vital step towards fostering financial inclusion, reducing costs, enhancing security, and expanding market reach. However, it requires concerted efforts from various stakeholders, including the SMEs, owners themselves, regulatory bodies, educational institutions, and infrastructure providers. By addressing the challenges faced by SMEs and implementing strategic plans to promote digital currency adoption, Nigeria can position itself as a leader in the digital economy and empower SMEs for a better future. Thank you.
Thank you. Take your seats to join us. Now we have This area is more techy and they have a lot of money. On this side, we are looking at money. On the other side, we are also looking at money. Pivot by family. One is paid, one is fair. So just try to understand the need. Pivot by family. So I'm going to call on Sally to also show us this discussion. After that, I will also give Mr. Victor to also introduce to this. Mr. Shata as well. So, Mr. Robert, you have the microphone.
Thank you very much. First of all, thank you for being here, for inviting me here for this talk. Really appreciate it. My name is Tony, CEO of Vanguard. At Pathos is spending a lot of our time building a modern digital conventions of all sizes, right? We know that a typical Nigerian is a businessman at heart. Even though he's working somewhere, he has a side gig, right? And we want to support that side gig from when it starts, grows, opens a store, and multiple stores all the way. That's what we want to bring to the beauty of all components of providing services to about 10,000 merchants. Before we then got acquired by family today. And on one side, this family has been doing a lot of work with retail and SMEs for a long time and providing financing to them and helping them grow their businesses. So it made for the best match, which is why you see it was my family, right? It's the coming together of two strong entities that have done a lot of work for SMEs. To try and double down on their key strengths and skills. And there's a lot coming up actually, and I think that I would say, please do follow us on social media, follow us on all our channels. There's a lot that we'll be launching very soon. In terms of contributing to digital transactions, I think that if more SMEs knew the importance of using digital means to do their transactions, right? And picking up on what my other panelists mentioned, I think one of the most important reasons to use digital transactions is just creating that digital trail so that when it's time to expand your business, right, the lender is going to be looking at that digital trail, right? When you do other forms, it's difficult to track, right? And then it increases your credibility and the lender can lend more, right? Which is why I think that even though cash is king, it's going to take us a while to kind of push away from that. I think that as business owners, we should always try to encourage digital channels, digital banking products, as much as possible. Building that record, it's absolutely important. Just keep building that record, right? Because that's how you bring that credit. That's how you are able to get better financing to then get that business to the next level, right? We've been building businesses for quite a while, and I know that for you to grow that business, no matter how much you do money, you will always get to the point where you need another person to grow that business. In order to get that going, you need that digital trail.
Okay, Mr. Victor.
To save battery.
You know, Mr. Victor Industries of Clarity is the National President of the Association of Mobile Money and Bank Agents of Nigeria. I think they just have a little brush with FCCBC over their efforts to increase charges on POS terminals. So those agents who were telling you that every 1,000 naira is 500 is their I'm just trying to make you understand. So if tomorrow he says for every 1,000 naira is 20 naira, he's also the leader. So, Mr. Victor.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here. I would like to say congratulations to the organizers of this
Secretary, well done. I'll just quickly give an introduction to say that for every SME, payments is now a big deal. The fact is, yes, cash is king, but the reality is that the world is embracing digital, and in Nigeria since 2009, when the CBN released the framework, we've been able to make very good traction in terms of embracing cashless solutions. And we work with SMEs, and AMPAN, we are also like a confederation coming together of SMEs. We have today over 1.5 agents in Nigeria, and those agents actually have employees. We have an entire system working for us, value chain attached to our system. So there's a lot going on. So the fact is, for SMEs, I'm very happy that we're treating these topics, and I must give credit to fintechs in Nigeria. And the reason why I'm saying that is, in the course of our discussions today, we've had people say we don't need an accountant today, and many of the solutions being pushed out actually have things that will help small businesses grow, from solutions for bookkeeping to just several solutions. So beyond solutions for cash payment, you are able to also issue out invoices, keep your stock record, and all of this stuff. So all of these ways that SMEs can actually grow into the payment system in Nigeria. Just by overnight, in 2022, entire payment in terms of volume that came was over $600 billion through ATM card, POS machines, online payment settlements. So any SME that is not plugged into fintechs or payment solutions today is actually lagging behind. And the fact is, you're bringing ease to your customers. And like everyone has said, any business today who is not mindful about keeping track record, would likely lose out in the scheme of things. And what all of these things will do, you'll be able to keep record of your sales per annum or by the month. And when these opportunities come, you'll be able to plug in. So at AMBAN, we're happy at what the CBN is creating. We're happy with forums like this, and we're happy to also ensure that whatever solutions are being churned out by the fintechs, we're push all of the solutions to the nooks and crannies, so that all players can, jump on board and make the most of this opportunities. Thank you.
Okay. You see, the other one charges for the services provided. The other person provides the terminals. So they are neighbors. So there's a value chain here. Somebody is with the money. Someone is charging for the money you want. The other one gives you the devices that you need. So the association of licensed mobile money payment solutions providers. Brown is represented here by Mr. Abu Shata, who is also the CEO of Limit. The microphone is yours.
Thank you very much. I'm also the vice chairman for AMPO as well.
My apologies.
No problem. So, just to put a bit of background to what you have said here today. So, the revolution of fintech actually started with us, which is like over a decade ago, when the journey started. CBN started issuing mobile money license, and from there, a lot of us made mistakes, understood the market, understood the industries, and we were able to provide actionable data that a lot of fintech organizations are using today, to grow for SMEs. And the more you do business on all of these digital platform, what you're creating is that you're leaving a footprint of financial profile, right? What you don't know is that when you carry out transaction or you're involved in trade activities, you are leaving data behind. And that data is what is used to analyze or run a behavioral credit scoring for you. Beyond that, how exactly do you pay often? So they check a lot of things. You need to begin to have that attitudinal change. Even in your personal life, it reflects your business. How often do you recharge your phone? How often do you buy data? Do you wait for your data to finish before you load your data again? How often do you pay for your OTP services, for your DSTV, for your start times? Do you wait for it to expire before you subscribe? All of these are behavioral profiling that fintech actually do. And I think my colleague here mentioned about the algorithm that is being used, to profile every customer that is on this platform. So it is very important that we take cognizance of all of these, activities, then narrow it down to payment. So today, we talk about fintech. There's what is coming up. We call it SAFTech, which is service technology. And that's exactly what a lot of SMEs are doing today. Because whether you like it or not, you'll be coming on board offering one service or the other. I'll give you a typical example. Even before we talk about the use case of the e-commerce or marketplace. So today, you are a coupler. People, you snap your product, you put it on Instagram, right? And somebody calls you and says, I'm interested in this item. So what you do basically is either you collect your money, which is online, or you do offline payment, which is pay on delivery. So what you do typically is to say, you are sending that item to the customer, upon the receipt of that item, the customer pays ahead. That is e-commerce. Simply put, and that's exactly what the business of SMEs is turning into today. You're packaging Gary Jebu, right? You are packaging all these local foods that we are selling today. So you are going into the more retail business, but you are putting a bit of digital activity to it. So when that happens, you are definitely growing the ecosystem and you are plugged to the fintech space as well. Because as you carry out all of these activities, you are driving the economy of Nigeria, whether directly or indirectly. And that is exactly what makes you stand out, because 80%, imagine 80%, you contribute to 80% of Nigerian economy and our GDP as well. So that is a huge impact on its own. So what we need to do is to see how first we can also engage ourselves or educate ourselves in terms of being financial literate, because as soon as you cross that hurdle, then you understand all of the premise around going to get credit or going to get loan or what we call buy now pay later, BNPL, right? You want to get an item, then later you pay small. If you connect within the fintech ecosystem, we provide all of these platforms that are flexible, adaptable, efficient, trusted, and it helps the operationalization of your business, to move from point A to point B. So I'll stop here.
Thank you. Being our years, I wanted you to actually put some wrong in. But we've been having a lot of issues with the emergence of very smart guys in the space. People set up apps within 24 hours and they have gone. We've heard the story of the payday. We've heard some millions and millions of naira just wishing. And some of them sadly let's say approved in principle already from the regulator. What steps are fintechs putting in place? We're talking about self-regulatory steps we are putting in place to safeguard, one, data integrity. Two, funds of all suspecting members of the public from being wished to be either by the smart staff of that company or by the management of that company itself. So let me start with papers.
Thank you. So let me start by saying that whatever we see happen in the fintech space happens in most of our spaces. So for example, this year we've seen Silicon Valley Bank. We've seen also gone through this issue of bank runs. Right, so the risk is cut across everywhere, it's not just fintech. So I don't want that risk to be tied to just fintech. So that's number one. And number two is, I think that for fintech specifically, we are starting to learn from the experience to see. There are a lot of fintechs that are already doing quite a lot, right? I joined Fed Money Fair Acquisition, and I can see that I can see a stronger, robust compliance system, a stronger, robust fraud monitoring team that is ensuring that, and doing things that I haven't said before, things like looking into the dark web and checking how we protect ourselves against hackers and the rest, right? So there's a lot to do, and you need strong teams to do it. The challenge with fintech sometimes is just that it takes you a while because you need to raise that required level of funding to get to that point where you can have that team in place that can protect it. So I think that, and I think if anyone is here, it just also says that there's an opportunity for you to provide these services at smaller scales to fintechs so that they're more protected, because fintechs are solving quite a very important problem in this industry. What we need to do is rally around, right, and provide the services to ensure that they're also protected as much as possible. The investors will play a role, right? Investors are trying to step up to see how they can support and ensure, because it's not good for investors also, and ensure that the teams are in place to ensure that these businesses are self-sustaining, hold themselves accountable. So interestingly, not just hold themselves accountable, they're accountable to their board, right? They're accountable to their investors, right? And all these things come with requirements that you must put in place in compliance for and the rest to ensure this doesn't happen.
To ask, it's a long question, and it's targeted at Alu Shatta and Mr. Yoni. You see, having people move away from devices now. I think we're coming closer to it. In the advent of NFC, people are using tap and pay. Use your phone to tap and pay. In some places you can just use your trousers. If something is there, just raise your leg and you get access to where you're going to. Why I'm saying so is, the moment this comes on, what happens to Victor's 1.5 million agents that are having POS terminals? We wake up one morning and hear that POS terminals are no longer available. They will be rather unemployed, and coupled with the number of staff they have employed because of the advent of terminals. That's also a source of concern that with the new technology that is coming up every day, we're moving to close to using virtual devices or less on a lot of manual devices that we have, right? And then the other part of concern for me is there's this belief that the venture capitalists are overfunding fintechs, that most of the fintechs are actually living larger than life lifestyles. Because today we are, this fintech just accessed 200,000 transmits in a $1 billion, and then the question you ask, how many people at that company, what are they deploying this money to? And after a week or two, you get they're having some issues. These funds that are driving, people are driving towards fintech, are you not concerned that we also have issues where some of these fintechs will just live large and disappear? And the impact will rub off on those who really need the funds. So, Mr. Shatta and Mr. Yoni, that question, what happens to this man's 1.5 million?
First and foremost, we need to understand where the concept of mobile money started, right? Ideally, we're not supposed to be using POS. Ideally, by default, we're supposed to be using basic devices. People have money in their wallets. They either go to agent location to do cashing, right? Or they want to check their balances. They want to, go for one financial literacy or the other. So agents are there to provide those awareness drive, those guides, those services, typically, right? But the market dynamics of Nigeria changed everything entirely. And if you look at it now, the card scheme will also exit from the system soon. Because if you go to the agent location, from our statistics, the highest channel that people use to carry out transaction is transfer. So that tells you that soon card is going to exit from the system. So what you're going to be seeing largely is agents will be used as a clearing house. They will be the one working in cash. So I will tell you the interoperability that, which was a question you directed at the CEO of Loan PSB earlier, or sorry, your other colleague directed at the Loan PSB about the interoperability of the banks, the PSB and fintech. Now what agents will be doing is clear, hold. Now because the PSBs are mandatory, to get smaller offices in rural communities, so they deposit those monies there, right, to safeguard those funds, and the cycle continues. The PSB can move it into the larger bank, and you can see, the cycle going. But essentially, this is exactly what the agents will be doing alternatively. Secondly, for those who want to offer credit, buy now, pay later, they can drop their app on that same devices. Some of those POS also have capability to accept QR codes. They have capability to accept the NFC technology, right? All of those technology are embedded. So there are a lot of things that we can use to change the dynamism of the business world.